Hello, beauties. Welcome to Moms Unboxed, a podcast where I unbox with you the how-tos, tips, and tricks to empower women to upgrade relationships, intimacy, and parenting. I'm your host, Melanie Caroline, a multi-dimensional woman, life coach, lover, and mom who's made a lot of fucking mistakes. If you want to live a sensual and liberated life, you've come to the right space. Don't forget to follow Moms Unboxed because you don't want to miss an episode. Welcome to another week's of Moms Unboxed. How y'all doing? I hope that you're having a great week, and if you're not, I trust that it'll turn around for y'all. Trust me, I needed some my own positive reinforcement this week because my weekend, most of it was real shit. Last week I talked about meditation and how to kind of start your meditation practice, and this week we're going to be unboxing meditation and how we can tune into our bodies. And I have a real live example of how meditation and your healing really kicks into action when you really need it the most. When we start practicing mindfulness, what you'll notice is that you are so much more aware of your body and the sensations that your body has. Our bodies are like a teleprompter. It will literally tell you if something is wrong, what is going on. You'll feel it. However, not everybody understands their body's messages because in America especially, and as a mom, more importantly, we are running around everywhere. We are doing chores, errands, cooking, cleaning, school activities, projects, all the things. Literally, there is just an endless amount of shit to do. And when we are immersing ourselves in our day, what do we leave behind? What do we ignore the most? We ignore ourselves. We ignore our body sensations. For example, how many times have you gone to work and by 1 o'clock you're like, I'm hungry. I am so hungry. My stomach is eating itself. Well, did you know that your body actually sends you messages that you're hungry when it's at 60% hunger rate? Unfortunately, we don't listen to those messages. We don't feel them until our stomach is legit screaming at us like we need to fucking eat. It has happened to me numerous times. Or another example, when you realize it's 3 o'clock and you've only had a soda or an energy drink and you haven't drank any water today, you are dehydrated, and then you have to play catch up on trying to drink water, slamming that shit down, and then you're peeing all night. It's really annoying if we don't listen to our bodies and all the messages that we receive. When we meditate, we tune into our body. We become more aware of the sensations. We become more aware of the feelings. When we're doing a formal meditation, we realize how tense our shoulders are, how tight our back is, or how clenched our jaw is. And we have to really tell our bodies to just relax. When you sit and meditate, you might even find that there are parts of your bodies that are sore that you don't realize are sore because you are constantly on the run. You are constantly doing things. And when you finally have a chance to sit and relax, it's like, holy shit, my hips hurt, my feet hurt from being up on my feet all day long. I need to do some yoga or some stretching. Jeez. But unfortunately, we don't do those things for ourselves until after all the mommy duties are done. And that's not okay. We first have to take care of ourselves so that we can be a better mom, so that we can be a better example for our children. What is the best example to be for our kids when it comes to self-care than watching mommy do her self-care? Watching mommy do her face routine, watching mom eat and drink water and doing her yoga and doing her stretching. And not only that, but inviting our children in to do these things with us so that they know how to take care of their bodies, so that they know how to listen to the messages that their body is receiving. I always ask my kids, I say, how does your body feel? And they just, most of the time they say, good. which I hate that response. How was your day? Good. Like that's okay. No, expand the vocab, please. So I tell my children, I say, how does it feel in your body? They'll listen to their body for a minute. And, they'll say, my stomach hurts, or my chest is tight, or, whatever their little bodies are feeling, they're able to express that. They're able to feel those sensations more because they sit down and they tune into their bodies. They meditate in a way that is best for them. So meditation doesn't have to look like sitting and doing a concentration meditation. It literally can be, you taking a bath and really being in tune with your body and how you're feeling. Meditation can also look like, you standing at the kitchen sink, you're doing the dishes and you're being mindful of what you're doing. You're being mindful of how your feet feel, how your hands feel in the water, how the soap feels with the suds touching your hands, how the sponge feels. Like meditation and mindfulness can be practiced in so many different ways. And I think that there is this misconceived notion that meditation has to be sit down, quiet your thoughts, shut your brain off. And it's like, no. That is not what meditation is. And I feel like if we can correct this thinking, more people would meditate. More people would engage in mindfulness activities instead of going from one activity to the next activity, the next activity, the next activity, without even tuning into themselves, without knowing like, hey, shit, I need to take a break for a second because I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling stressed in my body. And you really start to understand what does stress and overwhelm feel like in the body. I know when I don't eat all day and I'm feeling stressed, I start gnawing my cheeks. But I didn't know that until I started being more mindful and in tune with myself, until I started understanding, well, how does Mel's body respond? Because my body's response is going to be different than your body's response. And as a mom, we need to understand how the body responds so that we can take care of that, so that we can decrease our stress and live a life of flow and ease, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, I have so much conviction in meditation and mindfulness, and I just want you to have a piece of the pie. I want you to understand what it is like to really tune into yourself. Because once you tune into yourself, you start loving yourself, you start caring for yourself, you start believing in the power that you have within you. And everybody needs that. Not just moms, but everybody. They need to know the power that they have, because your body is not only a life vessel, it's magic. Your body is magic. And when we feel this magic, we feel the power in our bodies. It can also help us become more in tune with the guidance that our body is projecting to us. What do I mean by that? So, for instance, I was in a couple toxic relationships, and my body depleted. I lost so much weight. I was 100 pounds. And I developed a body rash, a rash that I had never seen before. It spread throughout my entire body because I was so stressed out. I wasn't eating. I was overwhelmed. I was depressed. I wasn't following my intuition. I wasn't listening to my body's messages. I was fucked up. And I know I am not the only mother who has been in a toxic relationship where their body just started depleting and fading away, and it was becoming reactionary, rashes, itching, like whatever. Our body can respond in a numerous amounts of ways when something is not right for us. And that's why it's important to listen to the body, to know when something is not right. And the more we ignore it, the worse it gets. Especially when it comes to like gnawing on my cheeks. Like I would get sores on my cheeks because I would just gnaw and ignore, or I wasn't even like conscious of the fact that I was doing it until I was meditating. Just like when I get stressed, my jaw gets really tight and clenched. When you live like that in your daily life, you're just not aware of it. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of things that your body does that you're just completely unaware of. You're unaware of it because you're trying to check the boxes and you're just going. And you're not aware. You're not noticing. You're not understanding why you are reacting the way you're reacting. It's probably because you're fucking tired and you're hungry and you're thirsty and all you want to do is just sit down and relax. But you don't know that because you just encourage yourself to keep going. Like we have to as moms, right? We can't just say, well, I don't feel like making dinner tonight, so y'all fend for yourselves. Your 3-year-old cannot make their own dinner. Like maybe if you had a 13-year-old, they can make up some top ramen, grilled cheese or something, right? It gets a little bit easier as the kids get older, but you still can't just neglect the responsibilities of being a mom. That's why you need to take your breaks while you can get it. And we don't allow ourselves to even take the breaks at times because we have this drive to continue. We have to allow ourselves to rest. We have to allow ourselves to tune into our bodies, understand what it needs and wants, meet that need, just like you would your children, so that you can relax. And like I said, live with ease and flow. Decrease the stress. Understand where it is in life that you are meant to be, where you're meant to grow. Because your body will tell you that too, especially if you are in a situation that you're not meant to be in. Now, I want to share my weekend story with you so that you can really understand the power of healing and mindfulness and meditation, okay? I have been on my healing journey for like 7 years now. I started meditating when I was having panic attacks, when I first moved in with my near ex-husband, and doing the meditation-based stress relief was so helpful to me. I learned to meditate. I learned different mindfulness practices. I was in a group. We were chatting and collaborating and just listening to each other's stories. And then it kind of like trickled off a little bit, right? The program ended. I kind of continued meditating. And then I got in a really shitty toxic relationship within my polyamory dynamic. That was the fucking worst decision of my fucking life, hands down. And that's another podcast episode, and I promise you I will tell you that story, especially for those who are interested in polyamory. Anywho, got in this toxic relationship with a man baby, and he was extremely verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, gaslighting, love bombing, all the things that you can think of. Is fucking hell. Absolute hell. Like I said, I went down 100 pounds. I got a body rash. Like I was not listening to my body. I kept telling myself this person needed me to survive. Every time I left, he would threaten to commit suicide. I felt tied and chained to him, and it was not good. So I had to get out of this relationship. I was literally dying with this motherfucker. I was drowning, and there was going to be no hand to save me because I had to save myself. And that's when I started picking up meditation again through the Mind Body Medicine school. And I talked about that a little bit in last week's episode. So if you're interested in that, go back and listen to that episode. I started doing James Gordon's work, and it was life-changing. It really was life-altering. I learned more about meditation, learned more about spirituality. I learned more about myself in that 8 weeks than I had in a very long time. And it was the catalyst that I needed to step away from this toxic person. And even with all the skills and meditation, all the shit that I did within myself, it was still very hard to get out of that relationship. But I don't think I could have done it without meditation and mindfulness, and without really taking a deep dive into myself and my limiting beliefs and my stories that I held on to, especially the stories that tied me to this toxic person. Like, he wasn't going to survive without me. He needed me in his life. If you are in a toxic relationship or even an unhealthy relationship and you're struggling, honey, I just really encourage you to dive deeper within yourself and work on your healing and projecting yourself forward and really letting go of what does not serve you anymore. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. No one likes diving into the unknown, But I promise you, you come out the other side. And it's hard. It's fucking hard. But you know what? You learn about yourself, and you love and care about yourself, and you evolve and grow as a person. And that's fucking beautiful, because your kids need you too. So I continued my meditation practice. I've been healing. I've had ego deaths. I literally am not even the same person that I was when I was in that relationship. I feel sad for the person that I was when I was in that relationship. I reflect back and I'm like, holy fuck, how did you become so powerless? And I regained my power. And there are things that I will no longer tolerate in my life, in a partner, in my friends, in my circumstances and situations. I am number one in my life so that I can be a better mom. And some people might disagree, like, no, your kids be number one. But here's the thing. If you don't take care of yourself, you're fucking sure not going to take care of your kids the best way that you can if you're not taking care of you. So you have to be number one in your life. Hands down, on point. You can argue. DM me. I'll love to talk to you about it. So it was a real testimony of the years of work that I have done within myself this past Friday. I woke up on Friday and I just felt irritable, and I didn't know what was going on. I knew that something was wrong because my body can feel it. My body remembered. And I had 2 doctor appointments, a baseball game, and then my partner's mom's family dinner. And I did not have time to really think about it. And it was about noon when I realized that it was my anniversary. And that really sucked because we're still married, but we've been separated almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in March. And as soon as I realized the date, I literally wanted to bawl my eyes out on the couch. But my daughter was sitting with me. And then, like I said, I had the doctor appointments and the baseball game. And then I had to leave. And so by the time I got to my partner's mom's house, which was 2 hours away, I fucking was a wreck. I could barely keep it in anymore. I could not contain the tears anymore. And that's the part about allowing yourself to feel emotions. We can only contain things for so long before we A, either respond, or B, become reactionary. And I'll talk more about emotions and feelings next week, but I had to let it out. I just couldn't do it. I realized, like, I had in-laws for 11 years who now barely talk to me. So it was that pain was arising. The pain from my marriage was arising, thinking about my wedding day, thinking about my husband. It was all coming down. It was crashing down. I was fucking miserable. And so I went out behind the car and I was like, okay, no, I'm going to lead myself. So I went out to the car with the intention of crying. And I was like, fuck this shit. You're going to lead yourself even more. You're going to enjoy the dinner. You're going to enjoy the company. And so I went back in. I got the kids' dinner served up and they were done. And I was like waiting for my partner. And I was like, I don't want to go outside without you because everyone's out doing s'more stuff. And he was like, no, just go outside, and just kept pushing me to go outside. And I was like, I don't want to. And then he started like yelling at me he wouldn't call it yelling, but I do. He was raising his voice at me, which he sometimes does when he's overwhelmed and frustrated, which triggered me. I was like, okay, I cannot do this. So I legit went out to the car and did cry. Tried to call my bestie, got a hold of her, talked to her for a little bit, and the service was super shitty. So that didn't really work well. Pulled myself together, went back inside. I just hung out with his family a little bit, sat by the fire. All was well. I was just thinking, trying to hang out with the kids, trying to distract myself, keep myself busy, like we do when we don't want to address our emotions, right? We just stay busy. And then my partner's baby mama ex-wife showed up, who is very involved with his family. Like, literally, you would think they never separated. Like, you'd know that my partner and him separated, but she has been in the family since she was in high school and had grandkids with him, or, you know what I'm saying? They had kids together, so my partner's family is like their grandkids, and her and I have not had a great relationship, mainly because she treated treated me like absolute shit. When my partner and I got together, she pretended to be my friend, and then as soon as she was told that he loved me, she totally did a 180 and was just not kind at all. So there is some history there, and I'll talk about baby mama drama on another episode because that shit's hot fire for real. Like, we need to talk about it more. So she showed up. I was sitting by the fire, and all I heard was, "They like me better." And everybody started laughing. So, of course, I was like, wow, that was a blow to my gut, and that really hurt my feelings on top of my already really badly hurt feelings. And I was thinking about it. I was listening to my body. My gut hurt. My heart hurt. Like, I was just ready to fucking leave. I was ready to go. I didn't want to be there anymore. I was not having a good time. I was depressed and sad about my marriage, and just all these things were coming up for me. And then for her to say that they liked her better was just so off-kiltered to me. And so Donnie called me to leave. So I'm walking up towards the patio. It's a little bit of a walk. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Well, she was sitting with my partner's mom, and his mom had a friend over because it was her birthday dinner. Yeah, no, my brain and my mouth were not in agreement. Next thing I know, I'm calling her out in front of the family. And I said, I don't appreciate what you said about me. And she's like, what? I said, that they like you better. And everyone's like, what? Just saying what over and over again. And I'm like, are you not hearing me or not understanding me? Because usually when you say what, that means you don't hear someone. Not, hey, can you clarify? Hey, can you tell me what you're talking about? Like, everyone's just saying what, which is kind of irritating me even more. Like, I know what I heard. So to say what repeatedly is kind of not great communication, in my opinion. So then I explained again, like, the fact that you came out here and said that they liked you better. And she's like, oh, I was talking about Donnie, who is my partner's name. And I was like, she's like, no, I was teasing that they liked me better than Donnie. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologized right away. And I said, I tried to explain myself. Given the history that her and I have, like, it totally sounded like she could have been talking about me, which I guess she was not. So then not only am I trying to apologize in front of his mom and his mom's friend, like, everyone was out there, and I apologized repeatedly. And then I felt humiliated and fucking embarrassed. And I went out to the car and I fucking bawled my eyes out. Like, I cried so hard. Everything just could not be contained anymore. I just had to let out all the emotions, all the feelings, and release it from my body. A lot of the times when you contain your emotions, your body can only hold so much. And this is why it's so important to release trauma from the body, because your body does store trauma and emotions. And until we release those things, it doesn't go away. Your body remembers, right? So I had to cry. I had to let it out. I couldn't contain it anymore. I fucking embarrassed myself. I humiliated myself in front of his family. Then I was like, great, they're going to fucking not like me even more than they probably already don't like me. Like, which is them not liking me, I'm sure is just a story in my head, because my partner's ex-wife and baby mama is so involved in his family. It almost feels like I don't even get a chance to get to know them without her being present. Our first camping trip all together, it was like the first time ever being around his family. She was there. So it's just been super uncomfortable from the get. And so anyways, to get back to Friday night, we finally left, and they were very compassionate, very understanding and forgiving, which was surprising and refreshing that they understood so much. But it's still, it still just doesn't make me feel right about the situation. But I'm grateful that they were compassionate, Very, very grateful. So on the way home, first off, let me say that I have fucking major car anxiety, okay? Major car anxiety. Donnie and I were talking on the way home, and I was telling him that I was reflecting back on the doctor appointment that I had earlier that day. I went to see a cardiologist because something is going on with my heart. I'm not sure what. And he asked me, he's like, well, do you have anxiety? And I was like, well, I used to have, bad anxiety, chronic anxiety. He's like, well, what about now? And I said, no, not really. I meditate. Like, I told Donnie this, and he's like, what are you talking about? You have capital YES anxiety, like yes to anxiety. You have massive anxiety. And in that moment, I realized that I have been lying to myself. I have been lying to myself that I don't live with anxiety, that I'm meditating and I'm healing and that it's going away. Though I have found numerous ways to manage my anxiety, there are still times where I'm super fucking triggered and my anxiety arises and it's so strong. And, that's also when I start biting my cheeks is when I'm having anxiety. And I wanted to believe that my anxiety was no longer a problem. And so when we're on our way home, I'm feeling my car anxiety just growing and growing. And my partner is speeding. Like, he's going 7 miles over the speed limit on a highway. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's going to turn 45 miles an hour here. And I'm like, can you please slow down? Like, this is not the time to argue with me. I need you to slow down. And because he was already having a bad day, we're both having fucking bad days, he was not as respectful as he usually is. And he started taunting me about, like, stupid shit, like just being fucking rude. And I went into, I don't know what to call it, y'all. It wasn't an anxiety attack. It wasn't a panic attack. I literally started just going into myself. My body responded. And here's what happened. I started feeling tingling all over my body. Oh, let me rewind for a second. So I thought that my vape would help my anxiety. Fucking wrong. I should have known better. I'm trying to stop vaping. I really am. It's been 2 days now, so hooray for me. I was fucking wrong. My vape was clogged, so I took an extra fucking deep inhale. That was the worst decision because my chest was on fire, which did not help my anxiety. I was super sick feeling. And when he was not listening, my body just fucking took over. I started feeling tingling all over my body. I started hugging myself. And in the hug, I could feel the power in my body and the energetic pull. And my arms were literally stuck to my chest. I shit you not. Like, I could not move my arms. And I started just fucking doing Reiki symbols over the car, started praying to the universe to protect the car, because it was fucking crazy Friday night, and the freeway was closed, so we had to take back roads. This black car fucking was racing another car, almost got in a wreck twice right next to us. It was fucking scary. I never again. I'm not driving 2 hours north in the fucking dark, coming home at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. It is fucking dangerous. And so my body just took over. I didn't think about it. It wasn't conscious decisions. My body just took over. And I could feel the onset of a panic attack, which I haven't had in like a decade. I haven't had a panic attack in a very, very long time. And I consciously was like, you're about to have a panic attack. And I said, no, I'm not. I started being more aware of my breath, consciously breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Like I said, my arms were fucking stuck to my core. I was hugging myself. I was talking positive thoughts to myself. I was telling myself I was going to get home safe. My body did start having some convulsions. Like, I took over in a healing way and processing everything and just comforting myself and holding myself and telling myself that I was going to be okay. And then I started having all these intuitive downloads. It was like the anxiety was a fucking flower that opened up my crown chakra, and all these downloads started coming through me. I don't even know how to, there's no name for this experience. If you have a name for this experience, let me know, because it wasn't an anxiety attack. It wasn't a panic attack. It was like my higher self dropped in. It literally dropped in and just took over. Like, I got you, girl. And that's the power of getting to know yourself and healing and meditating and practicing mindfulness and like doing these breathwork practices and doing these meditation practices over and over and over. I've been doing this for 8 years, if not longer. And it just fucking dropped in. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to practice it. It just was there automatically. Boom, boom, boom. I just dropped in. My higher self dropped in. And the intuitive downloads that I was receiving was so enlightening. And part of my work here is to talk about car anxiety, because I don't know who's talking about it. And it's so disabling to have car anxiety. Some people don't even fucking step out their house. Like, they don't get in a car. They don't go places. I literally have to push myself sometimes to get in the car and drive somewhere. My grandma lives nearly 2 hours away, and my aunt, my family. There's time I just can't go. I cannot go. And it's even worse when it's fucking raining and shitty outside, which is, come on, I live in Washington. Or when it's dark. I struggle. I struggle with it so badly. It's terrible. And during that car ride, I just dropped in. I took care of myself. I was breathing. I was hugging myself. My body was doing its thing. I was doing Reiki over the car and praying. I was having these downloads that I was supposed to talk about car anxiety and create methods to help people with car anxiety. And I was receiving confirmation of something that I really need in my life. And this decision that I'm making could change the trajectory of my relationship. It can make my relationship better, or it can, be the alternative, which is, we all know what the alternative is a breakup. It's moving forward. It's moving on. And that download that came to me confirmed what I had already been thinking. And that's that I need to move out of my partner's house. And when I got home, I stayed in the car and I fucking bawled my eyes out again. I grieved my relationship. I grieved parts of myself that I needed to release. I grieved what had happened along the car ride. Is just like all this stuff just came pouring out of me about my marriage, my husband, my partner, about things about me. I have gone from a place where I lived with my kids and my husband for 11 years. Since moving in with Donnie, I've had like 5 fucking roommates, multiple people coming in and out. I do well with organization when things are orderly. I like to create beautiful environments. There is very little in my environment right now that's within my control. There's a lot of disorganization, new roommate coming in with their kids. Like, it's just a lot for me to process. And I need an opportunity to be alone. And this doesn't mean that we're breaking up. It just means that I'm listening to my body. I'm listening to my intuition and higher self, and knowing that I have to experience what it's like to be in my own environment and my own space. And I'm terrified. I'm scared. What if I like it too much and I don't want to move back in? What if I realize that there are just things about Donnie and I that are not going to align and we end up separating? Like, I don't want to separate from Donnie. I love him. He's everything. He's taught me so much. Like, he is a part of my world, and he's been so helpful and so loving and caring. He's an amazing man, but we also have differences. When we live with our partners for long periods of time, we start mirroring our partners. So, for instance, if your partner stops working out, you might eventually stop working out, right? Like, the way they take care of themselves, you eventually might match. And fuck, amen, sister, if you have the fortitude to be like, no, my partner could do whatever the fuck he wants, I'm going to still do me. I love that for you. I am not that way. I very much mirror people, and I need an opportunity to understand what it is like for me to develop my own habits, my own routines, to have my beautiful things in my small ass studio space that I will eventually get. As soon as I fucking admitted this to myself finally and just told my partner that yes, I need to move out, it's just like this tension from my body was removed and I'm on the right path. I need this for me. And I need this so that I can continue my healing journey. And hopefully my anxiety will decrease. That the fact that I admit that I am still having anxiety, that I live with anxiety to my day to day, it on one hand, it's beautiful, right? Because I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing the meditation practices. I'm healing. I'm processing. I'm doing my ritual work and ceremony work. But I still live with it. And I don't know if it's something that's ever just going to go away. My body was storing the anxiety, and Friday, it just all fucking poured out of me. You know, I need to move my body and dance and do somatic work. And I just was like, no, I'm fine. Let me build my 2 businesses and take care of all the kids and the cooking and adapt to all the changes. And I'm fine. And it's like, fuck that, bro. You are not fine. You might find within your life or within your body, you might feel tension. You might feel like there's something not aligned within you. And you have to identify that by going within. One of the practices that I really want you to do this week is I want you to actually sit down. Take the time, set a 5-minute timer, and sit with yourself. Tune into your body, even if that's putting a hand on your diaphragm, a hand on your belly, and feel the rise and fall. Feel your breath as it goes in your nostrils and out. Feel any tensions in your body. Feel where you need to relax. Maybe your jaw is tight and you need to just gently open your mouth. Let the jaw drop. Pay attention to your eyebrows, your shoulders, your stomach, your back. Just really tune in to the sensations of your body. You can even ask your body, where is it I need to release tension? And listen, feel, be aware. There's a technique that I want you to practice as well. So when you do feel the sensation in your body, I want you to label it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And this labeling of the sensations will really help you understand what feels good and what feels not so great, and what is just neutral. Oftentimes we want to make the sensations about us. You know, we want to think that we're doing something wrong, but really this is a practice of awareness. What can you be doing better to address your body's needs? And it's one thing to become aware of the sensations of our body, but it's another to really take action to shift it. So if you notice that you're extremely hungry by 10 a.m. and you're not eating, make it a point to eat. The part of healing and evolving as a person is actually taking action, and it's shifting and changing. And sometimes it's just subtle changes and shifts that we need to make, but we have to start somewhere. And that start is with your own awareness. It's tuning in, it's discovering more about yourself. It's understanding where your trauma is in your body, how your chakras are blocked, where you can really heal yourself so that your Kundalini energy, your life energy, can just flow through you. So take this time this week. If you are feeling emotional, if you are experiencing joy, right? Sensations in our bodies is not just anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. It is joy and happiness and excitement. And you can pay attention to those signs too. It's like when I am happy, when I am feeling joy, how does that feel in my body? How long can I hold the joy and the happiness? That's also a fucking practice that we all need to improve on, right? Is being able to hold the joy and excitement for longer periods of time, even when we are triggered or feeling stressed out. It's like not letting that affect you, but you have to understand where it is in your body. So this was an amazing episode, I have to say so myself. I went through a lot of shit this weekend, and yesterday was my deceased mom's birthday, and so that was also a lot of tears and sadness as well. So there are things in life that just they impact us, and we have to understand how we can respond to those things so that we can be less reactionary, so that we can be the best mom that we can be, so that we can teach our children how to experience their bodies. I am a true believer that you can make an impact in your life and in your loved one's life by doing these awareness practices. So do the homework, mamas. Please, please, please. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to live a liberated, sensual, and unboxed life. I will chat with you next week. Until the next time, sunshine. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Moms Unboxed. If you have a topic or relationship question, connect with me at I am Melanie Caroline. And don't forget to follow Moms Unboxed. May you live a liberated, sensual, and unboxed life. I'll be chatting with you next Wednesday for another episode. Until the next time, sunshine.